Hey guys, welcome back. This is your host Phil from underKG.com, and this is Samsung Galaxy S10 5G. This is not launched in every single area yet. There are only a handful of countries with the 5G network available, but even without the 5G support, this still is the biggest and the most equipped Galaxy available right now. Now, the overall design is very similar to the rest of the lineup. It's got 6.7 inches of QHD Plus AMOLED panel, the on-screen fingerprint reader, there's the punch-hole camera, and the rear panel is made out of glass. But this glass, unlike the Galaxy S10 Plus, extends all the way towards the front panel. It doesn't stop in the middle for symmetry. So it feels a little, say, fatter, while it does give you a better grip. The phone is pretty heavy at 198 grams, but it doesn't feel like that much of a burden, probably because it's very well balanced internals. It's got IP68 weather protection, but just like the S10e, this does not have the heart rate monitor on the back. The display is very nice. It's bright, it's well calibrated, it gives you two options, natural or vivid, and the outdoor legibility is great. The only thing that I could hope for is the Apple True Tone equivalent. Now, the hole on top containing front-facing camera is extended. It's now longer thanks to the 3D TOF camera. The larger size didn't annoy me that much, but I am surprised to see that it's not used for the face unlock. Now, before you get any further, this is Samsung's first 5G smartphone, so we have to talk about that 5G network support. Just like any other network, it's gonna vastly vary depending on the region, but even in one of the well-covered areas, Seoul, it's very choppy and unstable. Now, the switching process between the 4G and 5G network isn't as bad as the early 4G networks, but it is annoying. In that process, it generates heat like crazy, so I ended up using it in the 4G preferred mode. When it works, the speed is amazing, going all the way up to north of 300 Mbps. But the signals only exist in the very populous area, and they almost never work indoors. Performance-wise, it's just as good. It's equipped with Snapdragon 855 or Exynos 9820, 8GB of RAM, 256 or 512GB of storage, but it doesn't have the microSD card expansion slot. Overall, it's very snappy after closing all the apps, launching a new one, closing that, launching another one, and switching between all those apps and multitasking with that new gesture. Everything works just fast. And especially this One UI, Samsung's very new interface, looks good, works good. It's got all these neat features like night mode. You can replace the navigation bar with the gestures. I think this is the best software Samsung has ever delivered. Now, it's got a lot of cameras both front and back. On the back, it's got 4 different ones: normal, wide, and telephoto, along with the 3D TOF sensor that aids you for the better live focus, the bokeh effect. As for the photos, they turn out great. Whether you're outside, indoors, have a lot of lights, or lacking, you just tap the shutter key and it's just gonna turn out great. The night photos are not as good as some of the competitors like the Pixels or the Huawei's, but it's still pretty good. Now, with that 3D TOF sensor, the live focus now works in 2 modes: normal angle and telephoto lens. So you have more flexibility, but in the quality, I don't really see much of a difference from the S10 Plus. I'm not saying it's bad, it works great, but I'm not seeing that much of a benefit here. And there's another 3D TOF sensor on the front, and this one's interesting. The Galaxy S10 has a single selfie cam, so it needs a human face for the live focus effect. The S10 Plus has additional depth sensor, so it can work with any of the objects. Now, the 5G model has even more advanced time of flight sensor, but it again needs a human face. I don't get the rationale behind it, but it is an obvious downgrade. Now, interestingly, on the live focus video, which is a very new feature, it doesn't have to be a human face. So my theory here is that it doesn't work well with the photos, but they didn't have a choice with the video. Anyway, it goes the same with the rear camera. You're given ability to apply bokeh effect on video in real time. It's not perfect, but I can see some folks are gonna like it. And as a bonus, there's a quick measure app that you can measure distance or the length of the certain objects. One of the use case scenarios could be decorating your room or deciding whether the new TV is going to fit on your wall. Audio-wise, it's got stereo speaker, one on the bottom and one on top. They're loud, the details are good, and Dolby Surround effect works wonders. There's a customizable equalizer, UHD upscaler, and adapt sound, a lot of options. Just one thing, the top speaker is facing the front and the bottom speaker is facing, well, the bottom. The left and right output doesn't sound the same. And it wasn't that of an issue on a smaller phone, but this is one big phone. So that difference on the angle becomes a little more annoying. But thankfully, Samsung kept the headphone jack, so you can always connect your good old wired headphones. And running all those features is the largest ever on a Samsung smartphone, 4500 milliamp cell built in. And surprisingly, it doesn't last that long. It gave me around 7 hours of screen on time, which is shorter than the Galaxy S10 Plus, probably due to modem's additional power usage and larger screen. And this is with the 4G mode. In 5G mode, which it constantly switches between networks, it gets a lot worse to 4.5 hours to 5 hours. Now, first ever on a Galaxy, they included the 25 watts fast charging, that's USB PD 3.0 standard. It works only when the battery is really low, but when it works, it's great. For a half an hour, you get 55%, an hour gives you 89%, and fully charging the phone only takes an hour and a half. And just like the other S10s, it's got wireless power share, so you can charge another device with the built-in battery. And here we go with the conclusion. The Galaxy S10 5G is a good phone. It's got great performance, the finish is good, I like the new color, it's well balanced, it's got amazing display, capable camera, great speakers. Simply put, it's good. But most of the things are also available on the cheaper, lighter S10 Plus. Sure, it's got bigger screen and bigger battery life and 5G network support, but do you really need them at the extra expenses? Because it's really expensive. Verizon is selling this for $12.99 for the 256 gigs and charges you $13.99 for double that storage. So unless you really absolutely need the 5G access right now, I suggest you stick with the S10 Plus. Don't get me wrong, it's actually pretty good for the very first 5G phone. When there's a new generation of network technology, the early devices almost always suck really bad, but this doesn't, which is a big thing. But it doesn't mean that you have to buy this at an extra price either. The few new features don't justify that. So that was the Galaxy S10 5G. If you have any questions, please do leave them down in the comment section below. You can always meet us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.